bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His loyal. Yes, yeah, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again.
Anything to talk about. Kimmel was given each one of them was given a reset except for Seth. I didn't even know he was still on the air.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did. Everyone's watching Forensic Files.
Yes.
Everyone's watching Seth.
One of the greatest shows ever.
Yeah, but these guys, they had opportunities to reset. Kimmel could have came back and tried to be funny again, or bring guests again, or show any kind of change, but they're really gonna ride this out to the last drop. What are they gonna do when he's gone?
Tyrus just did something nobody expected, and it sent a shockwave straight through Hollywood. He didn't tiptoe or hint. He went directly at Jimmy Kimmel, and the reaction from the entertainment world was instant disbelief. The man long treated as late-night royalty suddenly looked rattled, because this wasn't a soft disagreement or a playful jab. It felt like a full-scale collision. One side, a no-nonsense former wrestler who built his reputation on grit and blunt honesty. The other, a host who's become famous for laughing the hardest at his own punchlines. The atmosphere around the feud was electric, like the beginning of a storm you can't look away from. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What exactly pushed Tyrus to come out swinging, and why does it feel like he's taking aim not just at Kimmel, but at the entire Hollywood machine?
It's not the party, it's not the majority, it's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, you know, these things. And, you know, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people from, they go like, oh, you're no fun, I don't want to be around.
It's almost unbelievable how naturally Tyrus has shifted from physical battles to verbal ones. The man who used to dominate in the ring now hits just as hard with his commentary, turning every sentence into a blow that lands with force. It feels like a new kind of WrestleMania, except the power comes from conviction, not muscle. His latest target wasn't another loud personality trying to play tough. It was something much subtler, something wrapped in perfectly timed punchlines and studio applause. Tyrus's transition from fighter to truth teller seems unstoppable, like a storm pushing through an industry that prefers everything scripted and safe. Every time he speaks, you sense he's not just talking, he's shaking the foundation beneath him.
Are they going to be with Rosie O'Donnell in a four-way Zoom podcast about Trump ruining their life still?
I'm glad you didn't stop at four-way. Although in my head, I can see it.
Oh, come on, man. My mouth was open.
Then came the moment everyone replayed online. Tyrus cracking that joke about Kimmel teaming up with Rosie O'Donnell for a chaotic group Zoom meltdown over their grievances. It was one of those lines you can't unhear, sharp enough to make the audience wince and laugh at the same time. Even he caught himself, shaking his head as if to say, did I really just say that out loud? It was raw, unfiltered, and exactly the kind of thing you'd never hear on a polished late-night stage, and that's why it hit so hard.
I have one ex-wife. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, you tell us.
I had some scruples. Okay. I'll have one night stands, but I will not marry people I don't love. Okay. There's a certain line there.
You can't teach this cracker that.
I really think if they're going to continue to do a podcast, they need to bring their writers in. Ooh. Because that was brutal.
Terrible. They're out of touch.
It's like listening to two billionaires complaining about no one had change for their $100 bill at McDonald's. You know,
And standing across from him in this unexpected showdown is Jimmy Kimmel, the self-appointed prince of late night. For years, he's hidden behind cue cards and carefully choreographed monologues, wrapping moral lessons inside jokes that sound meaningful until you listen closely. Kimmel built a career poking fun at others, but now he's the one under the microscope, and the shift has been dramatic. He's used to being the one cracking the jokes, not becoming the punchline. What makes this clash even more striking is the contrast in their paths. Tyrus earned his scars grinding through real-world battles, while Kimmel rose in the comfort of a studio filled with applause. That safety blanket is beginning to slip, and everyone can see it.
They're like three ex-lovers.
Yes.
Who just found out about each other. Mm-hmm. And they're all getting together to talk about the man they all still love.
Right.
And they're just sizing each other up, trying to figure out which one of us has the best shot to get back with him.
Yes.
They all get together, they compare notes, and they tell each other, yeah, you should never mention his name again. You should never mention his name again. You should never. Does he call you? Doesn't call me? He texted me last week. Oh, so I'm still in the game. That's all this was. And that's why nobody cared.
The more people watched, the more the imbalance became obvious. On one side, you have Tyrus, someone shaped by real challenges, calm under pressure, and grounded in experiences most entertainers never face. On the other side is Kimmel, who once cried on national TV and tried to present it as hard-hitting journalism. The matchup looks lopsided because it is its authenticity versus performance. Tyrus carries a presence that comes from surviving hard moments, while Kimmel leans on makeup, lighting, and the approval of a crowd he depends on. It's like watching a heavyweight square off against a monologue written to sound meaningful but lacking the punch to back it up.
So annoyed. All I had was a crisp 100. They had no change. I was like, what is this world coming to? That's why I'm moving to Italy, girl. I know, me too.
Greg.
Like, it's just...
Can I say something, Greg?
Crossing guard goes,
How did you feel watching Kimmel cry?
Oh, one of his tears fell out. Hold on. You know, it's funny how this derangement's working, because it only seems to work if you have a camera in front of you.
The internet didn't just notice the tension, it pounced on it. This wasn't a polite disagreement. It exploded into a full-blown digital war. Fans gathered like spectators around a ring, ready long before either man delivered a new line. Memes surfaced instantly. Hashtags erupted. People grabbed sides with a level of passion usually saved for elections or sports championships. It stopped feeling like entertainment and turned into an online event, the kind where every tweet adds fuel to the blaze. Kimmel had his defenders, but Tyrus had an energy behind him that felt raw, loud, and fed up. The entire internet seemed to lean in at once, unwilling to look away from the chaos building in real time.
Here's about the ex-wife's club.
Yeah.
You know, they just sit around, be funny, or they're setting up for when they're all canceled, their tour. Their three-man show.
Yes.
Come watch us say how much we hate the president. The funniest thing about this whole thing is they act like he got into the White House, and right as he got in, he's like, your list that you wrote for him for people to go get. It's like ICE, here they are, go round them up. No one gives a frog's fat ass what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if they did, they would have stopped that podcast immediately.
Yes, that's right.
100%.
Then came Kimmel's big moment. He strutted onto the stage with his usual Hollywood confidence, a teleprompter loaded with jokes his writers probably stitched together from recycled internet humor. The room applauded on cue. His grin returned. The routine was predictable. But before the comfort fully set in, Tyrus crashed into the conversation, unscripted, unfiltered, and carrying the kind of verbal force that doesn't need studio lights to shine. When Tyrus hit, the reaction was instant. You could almost hear egos cracking across Los Angeles. He didn't just call Kimmel out, he stripped away the illusion. The everyman comedian image fell apart, revealing someone who hasn't lived in the real world in years. Kimmel's carefully crafted persona folded under the weight of Tyrus's straightforward honesty, and there was no going back.
I expected to walk into work, stepping over, crying, to your credit, libtards.
Yes.
Like, oh, excuse me, tear.
Yeah.
There we go. But it wasn't. Everybody went back to their lives.
Yeah.
So apparently the only way this heartbreak works is if you film it or force someone else to film it.
Right.
But to your point about Carson, we never knew his political affiliation because he was there to make everyone laugh. All the late night shows.
Tyrus didn't stop there. He sliced right through Hollywood's shine and said what countless people have been whispering for years. He wasn't chasing his own spotlight. He wanted truth. He pointed out how Kimmel loves pretending he's punching up when he's really mocking everyday people from behind the safety of cameras and million-dollar sets. Imagine Kimmel sipping expensive wine while lecturing an audience he barely relates to anymore. Tyrus's words cut deep because they came from lived experience. Nothing was handed to him. He fought for his place, fought for his voice, fought for the platform he has now. That authenticity made Kimmel's man of the people image collapse like paper in the rain.
One clown went all in on ignoring reality and blames MAGA.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So MAGA is desperately trying to portray Kirk's killer as not one of them. If that man was any more full of shit, he'd be a colostomy bag. That That was 2 days ago, so Kimmel had the chance to walk it back, but he can't.
Once that moment hit, fans exploded into near chaos. Half the internet cheered for Tyrus like he'd body-slammed the entire entertainment industry. The other side scrambled, digging up old clips to defend Kimmel's claimed irrelevance. The problem? There weren't enough to build a case. This was more than entertainment gossip. It became a cultural rift. Hollywood's echo chamber was finally being confronted by someone who didn't care about fitting into its polished narrative. When Tyrus growled that Kimmel should try laughing at himself, it struck harder than any scripted rant. People connected with it, not because they hated Kimmel, but because the honesty felt refreshing after years of moral preaching disguised as humor.
Should be fired because it was such a big murderous election on one side that it should have been a reset. Because when it happened in 20, when he lost and Biden got in, I don't remember us doing an episode on coping skills. There was no line in the audience where I was like, thank you for coming. Thank you. We just like, well, let's keep going. And I believe we made fun of the situation and ourselves. So I always tell people, try to be the bigger man, which is ironic. But in this case, because the poor sportsmanship is coming from TV, normally I would say you can have one lap and smell your flowers, but go ahead and take.
By now, even Hollywood insiders had to admit Tyrus wasn't entirely wrong. Watching Kimmel scramble for a comeback was like seeing a class clown realize the joke turned back on him. He'd spent years swimming in applause that felt more manufactured than sincere, and suddenly the room wasn't responding the same way. Fans online began comparing his rehearsed monologues to Tyrus's raw delivery, and the contrast was brutal. Memes shredded Kimmel quicker than he could roll out his next scripted quip. Some joked that maybe he should laugh more and sermonize less. Tyrus didn't just win a moment, he hijacked the narrative. When Kimmel's defenders cried bitter, it didn't stick. Pointing out tired comedy isn't bitterness, it's honesty. The most surprising twist was how clearly this whole clash exposed the thin line between comedy and activism. For years, Kimmel acted like his jokes were changing the world, when really they were changing his ratings. Tyrus finally voiced the frustration so many felt. You're not a hero, you're performing for applause. And suddenly, this wasn't just a feud, it became a referendum on what comedy should be. One side clung to polished virtue, the other wanted humor that didn't talk down to people. Tyrus stood firmly in the second camp, refusing to polish his message or chase approval. Kimmel tried to smile through it, but the strain showed his jokes felt forced, his confidence shaky. Meanwhile, Tyrus reminded people what comedy once was: brave, sharp, and honest. Watching him pull Kimmel off that moral stage felt like turning the lights back on in a room full of artificial glow. The laughter felt real again. If you're enjoying breakdowns like this and want more truth-driven commentary, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Jacob Reports. Your support keeps these deep dive stories coming.